seathotpodcast.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Hot Seat Podcast. My name is Shwada Thursday.
My name is Ana Uthman.
My name is Hani Suraya.
So topik hari ni kita ada few kakak-kakak podcaster from different podcasts. And the reason being we have them on board with us pasal kita nak everyone punya POV regarding ladies like all of us doing podcast.
Yes.
And also we saw the recent things that happen with Women's Up, and all the comments that they're getting is something that some of us can share our thoughts or opinions. And kita akan kenalkan you all dengan kakak-kakak podcaster dari podcast favourite korang. So let's introduce our guest. Kita ada Kak D from the Crowded Room.
Hi everyone.
Nervous.
Thank you.
Tadi aku. Kita ada Liz from Sembang, Panas.
Yo, what's up people? I'm Liza Baliza. Macam awkward tau. Macam aku guess podcast korang aku awkward.
Jangan, kita semua ibaratkan dia macam apa tau, girl empowering. Tak Tak kan?
Women empowerment.
Women empowerment.
Girl Okay, introduce diri dia dulu lah.
Yalah, okay Kak. I just want to know how long you doing podcast and where, how do you be part of the Crowded Room?
The group, okay. So Crowded Room started in June 2023. So we are shy of a year old, and I am the only girl in the 4 people group. 4 people four lah. So basically we've got 3 other men, and I'm the only woman there. How we met each other was from an app called Clubhouse. So dari zaman Clubhouse tu kita dah memang ada banyak conversations like how you hear dekat podcast lah. Macam the style of kita punya conversations is very how should I say, we push narratives, the narrative normal punya norms of what people tend to just go with, and we definitely have very different opinions about many different things, and that's how we get along lah, senang cakap. We are not an echo chamber.
How about Liz pula?
Liz.
Okay, how long?
I think this is my 2nd year in Sembang Panas, surprisingly.
Wow, lama
Yeah, currently not the only female, but I was the only female for 1 year plus. I think a lot of people know I took over Azula's spot lah.
Okay.
Azula was in the podcast I didn't know.
Okay. She used to be in Sembang Panas.
Correct.
is it?
So I took technically I took over her spot lah, because ID said that the podcast needed a female voice.
I see.
Dia kira kat dalam situ dia selalu kena bully lah. Apa tu Liz mengadu kat aku.
Betul.
Kena bully. Saya kena bully kau. Memang patut.
So kakak so far you pernah kena bully dengan the men ke, atau you yang bully diorang?
I bully diorang lah. I wouldn't say they bully. Sometimes because my perspective on things very jarang sama dengan diorang. So kita banyak berdebat lah kat situ. Cuma my bestie je musa. Yes di betul kau betul.
Dia dah takut
I guess he tend to just follow me lah in that sense, but dia follow semua orang lah.
I got a question. What is the hardest part of being the only female podcaster in the group for the both of you?
Okay, you want to start first?
Okay, for me kan, I think it started off as macam the first thing when I took over, people were like, siapa ni? People know Azula in the team, right? So they assumed that I was going to take over her and macam be like her. But I have my own identity. We are both different identity. And being the only female podcast in a group of, at that point of time, was 3 guys. ID, Fred and Haikal. So I had to macam be as loud as them. I started off not being that loud. So I was a bit reserved, but slowly I need to macam learn to banter with them. And as the only female, kadang-kadang macam 3 lelaki go against kau macam sabar, elak. But after a while, I got the hang of it lah.
What about you, Kak D?
For me, I don't really have issues with being the only lady, because for a very long time I'm used to being the only girl in the group lah. But the thing that I really struggled with was when kita ada live TikTok, right? I don't know about you ladies whether you receive this or not, but majority of the time, because I'm the only girl, or because I'm a woman lah, I do get picked on a lot. based on my opinions, especially if got to do dengan religion ke spirituality whatever. So I'm not someone who is very covered up, and banyak kali diorang ingat that I'm a feminist or I don't have I'm not in the, kenapa cakap aku ni tak berkaliber untuk berbahas tentang agama.
Faham.
You get what I mean?
Yes,
So
yes.
all this how should I say orang yang pemikiran cetek lah, gelas dia terlalu full all the time, dia orang tak empty kan cawan dia. That's why dia suka macam just melihat zahirnya. A lot of the comments that I get is, kau nak berbual pasal macam gini tapi tengok buah dada tu senang-senang dah nampak, you know, shit like that. So I can
So pada diorang, mindset diorang is like orang yang pakai tudung je belayak untuk
So but I pay no attention lah. I'm glad that my co-hosts are someone who will macam stand up and and cakap lah, korang tak mau low class lah. Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so for me, have you ladies pernah kena backlash rabak tak? And how korang overcome it?
I think backlash rabak aku tak pernah kena, but more to people be like, kau I think there's this comment that struck me even till today. Not gonna say from who, but they'll be like, yelah kau perempuan sundal, tergelik-gelik depan lelaki, tergedik-gedik depan lelaki.
that rumor.
Yeah, so it struck me, but at the same time I'm like, I know how I am with the guys, and I know macam for example Shu knows me. I make sure that the wife of the team member that I'm with is all kenal me, so they know how I am with the guys, and I don't think aku macam gedik. So it affected me for a while, but after a while aku macam
Kau buat bodoh lah.
I ignore, and then I'm like, actually aku tak gedik pun. Like if I were to compare, like I don't know, like some girls out there, I've seen girls out there that fangirl over, like example ID, and I see how gedik they are. Sorry, Ishu. Yeah. I'm not like that, so I don't think I'm considered gedik. And aku rasa aku will cringe kalau aku gedik. Like I mean you all know me, so like aku very like boyish.
Because knowing Liz kan, for the first time, dia macam those kind of mak tiri, bahasa suka marah je. And dia macam serious. Dia punya muka macam gitu, dia macam tak ada perasaannya kan. So kalau orang suruh buat, dia macam gedik-gedik dia. Yelah.
TikTok macam ni dengan dia exactly. Kau punya kalau buat TikTok kan dia macam mana?
Dia malas sangat kan. Dia tak okay lah dah.
So you all know how I am, right? So after a while I was like, actually aku tak macam gini pun. So why am I that affected? Like yes, the person that commented that might know me personally, but at the same time you don't know me now. It's just your own assumption lah.
What about you, Kak D?
Aku there's one particular episode that was with Outside In, as us in our podcast as guests. So kita suka berbicara tentang polygamy tau.
What's polygamy?
Kahwin empat.
Okay.
Yeah. So we spoke about polygamy, and then I said along the lines, I mean, not say along the lines but basically aku bahaskan tentang the fairness in it. Of course yang lelaki dekat aku punya group cakap, you don't really need to fairness is something that kau boleh kira. But I and Farah at that point, basically the point I was trying to put across is, dalam agama I'm sure it goes beyond that. When they say about fairness, it's got to do more than just benda yang kau boleh hitung. And it may possibly also be yang orang selalu terlepas pandang is about how kau punya wives feel. Zahir dia, but all of that lah. So kena kejar rabak. The other thing is they just say kau, itulah yang dia cakap, pakai baju tak betul, kau nak berbual bahas pasal agama. I cakap nobody's talking about agama. Agama is agama. Rules are there already.
Correct.
So if you want to just go on the surface, that's how your mind can think, then that's on you. But I want to go deeper. It goes beyond that. And then of course lah, the rest of the boys say, but right, we don't really need permission. But of course that's another story for another day lah. But itu kena kecam rabak dekat TikTok pasal a lot about my physicality, because it's a religious topic of sorts, but I am not dressed appropriately kan. So satu. The other one is of course about male versus female juga. Kita berbual tentang bolehkah lelaki ada atau perempuan have best friends of the opposite sex. So my husband and I, we are pretty open in a sense that when we meet our friends, kita peluk, kita cium pipi, we are very close. We are just like that. And my hosts, they are conservative, so they don't do that, which is fine. So we were just, discussing what's okay for us and our jealousy level, etc, etc, because given the fact that aku memang ramai teman lelaki, and then it came to a point that orang kat TikTok tu cakap, oh kirakan kau punya lelaki kasih kau share ramai ah.
Ayo,
What the hell? Apa
what the hell? They so rude.
Yeah.
So what the
So
nak maki.
Simpan tu for nanti.
so they don't, you see, in that, if you ask me what is the most difficult thing, is like we are easy targets majority of the time. So kalau kau tak ada have that hard stance to know who you are and your worth and where you stand, right, this game is not for you.
Yes,
Yeah.
betul.
Empowering.
You
Okay,
get
aku
me?
nak tanya korang pula. Since okay.
Kita pada question.
Pasal korang tanya Kes tanya balik lah. Like, okay, I would say, okay, Shu is influencer punya wife, Ana is influencer yourself, Hanis, people are starting to know you as an influencer, whether you like it or not. Korang kena tak kecam, like even though korang baru start gini, especially Hanis baru start lah. The two of you kirakan dah long in the game lah.
Actually ada.
Ada.
But it's just a little bit. Pasal aku pun baru-baru start podcast kan. So people tend to say that aku ikut-ikut korang. Tapi diorang tak tahu that I'm actually under y'all. Itu je lah.
Macam aku baru-baru mungkin pasal kerana this is sensitive nanti aku akan tanya juga tau. Pasal aku bertudung kan. So bagi diorang ni, aku ni macam banyak mencarut, maki-maki. So aku overthinking it makes me macam I have to keep listening back my podcast every single time aku buat recording ke apa, the whole episode to make sure aku dah maki tak. The only thing aku dengar, aku macam siul lah, itu je.
The basic lah.
So aku macam is it something, or is it because that one podcast yang kita berbual pasal penyondol kan?
Aku buat
word
teaser
that sundrung. That word.
So sengaja.
apa nama orang India, okay lah.
Dia cakap the actual word.
Jadi
Okay lah, aku cakapkan kau lah, Sunda lah.
so mungkin pasal of that word kot yang orang cakap aku ni macam memaki-maki, but I don't know if they listen to the whole story. Mungkin or they see that kind of teaser je.
Tapi itu diorang terasa ke apa?
Aku tak tahulah.
Terasa.
Maybe.
Kalau ada terasa memang
Probably.
padan lah dengan muka dia lah. Memang
Sure.
harus lah.
Probably.
Hanis,
Aku tak nak cakap tak pernah kena backlash. Aku tak pernah. Aku very low key.
Don't jinx it.
tapi kan aku realize Hanis ada one bad habit. Dia memang tengok kitanya podcast, like even our podcast, dia tengok bila kita kena kecam, dia yang trigger. Aku tak faham
Dia trigger. Aku ingat dia ketawa.
Kalau sama-sama tahu tu aku jangan expose. Aku tak nak bilang.
Dia kira dia yang batu api tau. Dia yang
Aku
start
yang
the
lawan
first.
balik lah. Pasal it's like your 2 cents comment is triggering me. Your 2 cents comment is triggering me. Aku tak boleh. But outside of podcast, people know me as macam, aku dulu kan, like in Instagram a lot of people know me. And time ITE adalah some things happen, then I say openly can I, my pictures and everything was being leaked. So yeah, and like random people keep messaging me.
Kira kan ada orang lama yang kenal kau juga lah.
And
Dia
then
nak
like
expose
condemn me
kau
also.
lah.
Yeah, they were about to expose me.
You know what, if they do, just fuck it lah. People have, there's OF now. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Dengar tu kakak dah kasih advice.
Tumblr tak
I mean, like,
saya dah kahwin.
you know, in this day and age, right, I feel that macam nudity, as much as people want to like say it's secret or whatever, like, you know, the conservatives can have
Their own opinions.
all you want lah.
Yeah.
But I'm sure y'all be having those like naked hijabis or whatever stuff in your Telegram group. So don't be, I'm just gonna maki but motherfucking hypocrites you get me not? Like
correct.
you wanna go, you see, you have it at us for being ourselves, or maybe even having a history. Everybody have a long as body count for all we care, but that don't mean that they are a lesser person today. Their past do not determine who they are today, and it's harder for us women because they say that perempuan nak kena behave a certain way, whatever. Lelaki pun nak kena behave in a certain way. And I feel that the reason now they're coming back. Women are not. Women these days are not in their feminine energy because we don't have the opportunity to be in our feminine energy because of motherfuckers like you. You all want to be babied all the time.
Yes.
I got my sister here.
Yeah, you want to be babied all the time. We are expected to work. We are expected to look after the children. Blah blah blah. Macam mana kita nak jadi feminine?
Actually
Sebenarnya
Betul tak? Kalau the past kau nak cakap, aku ada gambar, example, aku pernah nampak gambar bogel D. Nampak
nak buat apa benda dalam
kau nak buat apa? Kalau aku badan masih macam gitu, bagus lah kan. Sekarang tak macam 10 tahun yang lalu, but okay lah, nostalgia. The thing is, they want a reaction out of you. So if you give them that reaction, they I won.
That's what they want lah.
That's what they want.
You know what I mean? So don't worry girl. Be proud.
Kira kan korang tak, kalau korang tak nak maki, kita ada tukang maki kat sini.
Tukang puasa. Tak apa, korang nak dengar podcast ni malam-malam lah. Jangan dengar siang-siang dah lupa buka.
Okay, so next actually this question is macam in general lah Okay, for hijabis podcaster versus non-hijabi podcaster, why hijabi critics harsher?
Okay. Kau cakap dulu lah. I have
Because I need to ask this from Liz. Because knowing Liz dulu, bila dia masuk Sembang Panas, dia bertudung. After a while, bila I buka apa itu Al-Kisah punya production dia ni kan live, I terkejut nampak dia dengan rambut merah. Cakap dia pakai wig ke apa? Mahal macam since when you open bertudung and why? Is it pasal the critic or you having ke apa?
So honestly, I started wearing tudung ever since I was young, and it was just macam orang pakai kasih tudung and just pakai. So it wasn't macam like those people dan cakap ada hidayah untuk pakai tudung. So I just continued wearing, but at the same time I was not someone that people would think macam a hijabi would to behave. People always say macam a hijabi has a certain standard and everything. But to me, tak lah, dosa aku dengan Tuhan is antara diri aku. But until this one day that after I entered this industry, I went into a live, I'm not going to say who, but then this person was like saying, Liz lah, aku respect dia sahaja pakai tudung, dia very gini, aku look up to her. And when I received that sentence kan, aku macam shit, I don't want people to look up for me to the wrong reason. And I am not someone deserving of like macam to be looked up to, because I'm not an angel. I'm not someone, aku buat dosa, aku buat benda that shouldn't be done and everything lah. But while wearing tudung, and I realised that it's not a good example to people who are looking like this person who said that they look up to me. What if this person kat luar nampak aku buat benda yang, for example, I smoke. Okay, I'm gonna reveal, aku smoke. So what if people see me macam, I look up to her because she's so sopan santun, gini. Sekali kat luar nampak dia isap rokok, dia like, even for me, if I see my role model doing something wrong, I'll be like, salah, aku look up to this person, but it's not perfect. But in general, people are not perfect. So that's when I was like, I cannot do this. I don't want people to think macam this way. Maybe it's just a me thing. Maybe people don't even think of that to me. But it's just me fikir macam gitu. I said like, okay, let me just remove the tudung. When people ask me why, I always say like, doakan. If I terbuka hati untuk pakai balik, once I ready, then I will wear back. But to me, this is who I am now. If you want to accept it, accept it. If you want to kecam and everything, but kecam to me. Don't kecam to the people around me, because they are not the one who made me buka tudung. They are the one who macam they tell me like, you sure? Like they encourage me not to, but they still respect my decision. At the same time, being a hijabi podcaster, there's also macam some reserves that I need to look after. Like macam Shu kena like, kau pakai tudung tapi orang cakap kau maki-maki gini, mulut tak sensor. You know this kind of thing, people say like, orang yang pakai tudung kena baik, orang yang tak pakai tudung tak baik. But that is just an outside. People don't know what's the inside.
Correct. Macam orang expect like aku kalau berbual ni mesti knowledge, apa tu, Islamic knowledgeable. Macam bila
Correct.
kau nak berbual ni kau nak kena ada unsur-unsur agama. Kau nak kena ada pandai logik. Berbual bertapis-tapis. Tapi people tak tahu ke aku ni kuat mencarut sebenarnya.
Orang macam gini buat pasal kamu tak boleh
It's like it doesn't make sense, you know. Like how a person dress or how they outlook does not define who they are as a person inside. Even okay, I'm going to probably going to kecam for this or whatsoever. Even ustaz and ustazah can buat dosa kat luar. Ustaz and ustazah does not mean that they are like the perfect human. They also can buat benda bodoh kat luar. It's just that it's covered up. People don't know. Dorang alhamdulillah it was covered. But it's just that people macam because ustazah pakai tutup semua baik-baik. But then kita yang macam gini macam yelah Mina rambut merah gini gitu like okay, come at it man, whatever.
Tak semua orang yang berkopiah dengan bertudung tu suci dekat luar dengan dalam tu tengok.
Betul. Aku terasa.
Sorry.
Pedas tau.
Lambat acting.
Okay, so yourself basic.
Itu belum habis dah. Okay. Nak kena jawab juga Okay, so for me essentially do whatever is best for yourself lah. But I really applaud you for having those thoughts because macam kau ada kesedaran tau. Kesedaran in that sense that this is my belief kita kalau beruniform tak kisah sekolah atau agama or whatever. Like if you address like a nun, there's a particular code that you have to uphold or behavior.
Yes.
Right? So dengan tidak sengaja pun kalau kita ni memakai tudung, berhijab, etc. whatever, kalau kita dipandang oleh orang bukan Islam, that means orang kafir, straight up orang tahu ni orang Muslim.
Betul.
Right?
Yes, correct.
So imagine if we were to behave in a certain way. It gives a bad name to our
Religions.
orang Muslim macam gini Like what I said the other day, one of the topics, I'm not even talking about macam hijabi sisters je tau. I'm even talking about those yang yang pakai jubah lah, yang pakai, I'm talking about those UK preachers dakwah syariah aku berbual macam gitu.
Ya Allah. Khalas.
Padahal kau mamak tau, tapi kau nak step lidah Arab pula. Okay, tak apa. Cara kau berbual macam gitu, and you degrade woman in a certain way when she's asking you a question, and then kau cakap ini dalam Islam tak ada kena mengena dengan feelings wanita atau feelings lelaki, ni kita religion ini saja. Kalau orang kafir melihat jangan cakap kafir lah, that's a bad word lah, not nice to say, or mungkin non-Muslims were to see you in that representation as a Muslim man, do you think you're representing a Muslim man in a right light? So coming back to bertudung, of course, like Liz say, I'm wearing tudung, someone look up to me, but I know myself that I'm not that. So you're not being a hypocrite. So that's why I say I applaud you. I'm not saying that those yang macam gitu dia rasa, because kita ada juga hijabi sisters that wear tudung. I say aku sucinya.
Suci.
Mak suci. Sok suci girl. Kan? Like engkau, you can look like that. Bila kita tengok komen dekat TikTok tu, na'udzubillah min zalik, cara kau berbual.
Exactly.
So you get me?
Yes.
So at the end of the day, you should just fuck whatever people want to say. The inner dialogue that you have with yourself.
Correct.
Am I ready to wear this? If I'm doing this, am I doing for the right reasons?
Correct.
Am I doing it for him, or am I doing it like because
People expectations.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ada juga. Ini aku mungkin boleh kena cancel. But this is just my personal opinion.
Yeah,
Because
it's a personal opinions lah. Anyway.
sometimes there are women who pakai because they don't look like how they look 10 years ago.
Correct.
Maybe bulging here and there. Okay, tutup lah, pakai tudung lah, because it's time lah, dah tak seksi lagi apa. Sometimes it's not maybe because, but they pretend and they say, oh aku dah berhijrah, tapi mulut kau belum hijrah juga. So tak kisah apa girl, senang cakap, kita perempuan, kau pakai tudung kau kena maki, kau menterik gini pakai pun kau kena maki. At the end of the day, you know who you are.
Yes.
Correct.
And as much as it is as sisters, kan, we just have to empower each other lah.
Yes.
And it's easier said than done, because the hardest critic are women ourselves.
Correct.
Dengar
It's
tu.
the same thing as kalau macam kita female podcasters kan, macam okay, macam example lah, kita as perempuan buat podcast, mesti orang expect kita to become very feminist, and then at the same time kalau yang macam siapa-siapa pakai hijab, kita kena bawa pasal agama. Mesti orang expect that from us.
Expectations.
Tapi
There's so many colours. Like women are a spectrum tau. Kita bukan colour hitam atau putih saja. Kita macam-macam colour. So you just have to, like they say, oh, women are emotional beings. I hear it all the time. Yes. No shit, Sherlock. We are.
Correct.
You know. So there might be some days that we might be macam very down.
Yes.
PMS.
Correct.
Kau layan je lah. Dan memang kita macam gitu.
Ya.
Kita
Layan je lah.
Layan je.
Sekarang lelaki pun ada PMS, mood swing.
Kadang-kadang susah. Bukan kita tak nak. Kita cuba. Why am I macam living in filled in with self-loathe Macam why do I loathe myself instead of loving myself? I loathe myself. I don't deserve love. There's just some days that your hormones do that to you, or kau ada satu hari kau nak pekik-pekik
You know, it's worse if you are like going through the day where you hate yourself, and then lepas tu kena komen rabak.
Oh
Lepas
my
tu
God.
other women also
Yes.
macam look down on you. Then you like, okay fine, fuck it.
This is what macam aku rasa lah, because aku kan bertudung. So like macam orang cakap, you're being hypocrite kau buka tudung
Kau cakap okay kau gitu.
So aku cakap
okay, jalan.
So aku benar cakap okay lah, nanti dosa aku kau tanggung lah ya. Pasal kau yang menggalakkan apa kalau buka aurat. Because for me, okay lah, penghijraan I macam okay lah, kita punya masing-masing lah I mean take how long you kau nak berhijrah ni, istiqamah ni, nak stay ni susah, bukan senang. So it take time. So I understand that sometimes mungkin aku ada tersalah silap, mungkin cara kata ke tingkah laku ke, you know, but I'm still learning. See, so for me negativity is nothing lah. It's just nothing. Cuma macam you don't touch into sensitivity lah. When it comes to seperti macam ni confirm laki tak pandai jaga bini.
Okay, that one dah melebih lah.
Laki kau tak pandai jaga bini apa, bini dah bertudung dah gini, lepas tu biarkan bini maki-maki.
Correct.
Habis lepas tu ni nanti kesian ada 2 anak perempuan, tanggung lah laki dia macam gitu.
Are those real people or troll accounts?
It's true people.
And they wear tudung and whatever. Atau lelaki.
I macam like, aku rasa kau ni songsang pada diri kau sendiri, itu kau punya pasal lah. But you don't talk to me like this. Mungkin okay lah, ni masing-masing. Kalau agama how dalam ke tak dalam tu terserah pada masing-masing. But I know basic sekali pun my mom ajar pun, atau my family all macam semua orang brought up to be jangan kurang hajar. Itu simple. So macam one of the pernah I terdengar from this one stranger lah I don't mention because I know mungkin dia nak terasa tu pasal, but macam because I bertudung and then I with Anas, Abing, Hanis, kita semua gila-gila dalam hot seat, right?
Okay.
So dia orang always cakap leceh kalau perempuan nak buat podcast. Diorangnya podcast either condemn lelaki, kalau tak diorang gedik for attention, or paling pun tempat mengumpat konon ala-ala spill the tea, mendatangkan dosa je.
Kau jangan tengok
Even if it's spilling the tea, what's up?
Habis ada yang cakap perempuan tak boleh vibe dengan lelaki sebab diorang bergedik lebih and step gerik je.
Habis aku apa? Dia apa? Podcast dengan lelaki sampai kita sendiri jadi jantan
Aku dah memang jantan katakan. Dah lama pun tu 38 tahun kan.
Habis most of them cakap apa, diorang exit kita macam macam faham ni perempuan-perempuan buat podcast buang masa je, ni confirm berbual meripik nak condemn lelaki lah apalah.
Tak pandai jaga diri lah dekat podcast lain, dekat
macam they don't give us the chance.
Diorang cakap gitu, tapi they are just behind the keyboard. They are not doing anything. At least korang are doing something. Korang tengah duduk buat podcast. Kau buat apa? Kau just belakang tengah suck your thumb sel. Aku dah keluar. Aku macam tengah ambil faedah tau.
Actually kan, there's I feel that how we do it dekat crowded room is we appoint one person to be the firefighter. Aku pernah kena sampai hadis keluar girl. Bukan hadis. Aku cakap Agus, kira tengok suara trigger dia. Dah suruh keluarkan hadis tu. Dia cakap sedih dah, aku jangan baca. And aku tak baca comments. So we will appoint one person. If let's say, since you guys are, you have a group and everything, right? Maybe you can get like one male person who is not terlalu invested in whatever. Kasih diorang reply, because we do need that sort of interaction of sorts kan. And that person must be smart to argue. So kalau kita macam aku tahu sometimes I can get emotional. Aku tak tengok. I would just like outsource the job to somebody else. Unless they say it to your face, then you can react. But if it's from TikTok, I would say fuck it. Because dia tak menjanakan apa-apa, and kita tahu kita punya kelemahan, macam how like kita punya strengths and our weaknesses. So if these are the things that yang boleh mendatangkan kesedihan, self-doubt and everything, let somebody else. Because you see, these sort of things get imprinted in us tau. Macam word orang cakap aku share ramai.
Itu kurang
You know what I
ajar.
mean? And it was nice, and that was live tau. So Agus was nice, kita cakap, kita sebagai lelaki jangan katakan benda-benda gitu. Kalau kau ingat kau betul orang Islam, kau nak cakap pasal agama pun sekarang. Kau cakap dia peluk-peluk kawan lelaki dia semua, lelaki dia kasih, so lelaki dia kasih dia share ramai. Tapi apa kata dengan mulut kau? So pemikiran jangan low class. Ni pemikiran low class. Aku macam, aku dari Agus bilang sabar dah. I can get very feisty. So I mean, I do empathize lah, korang kena macam gitu with like whatever comments. But the best is outsource dekat ID ke, outsource kat orang lain. Korang jangan baca comments.
Faham.
But then okay, I just want to add one point. Like ni kita tahu diri kita tak gede, but korang, there are that outside people macam, not talking about podcast in general, just talking about ladies in general, where they act gede in front of guys. Do you think that's the reason why people macam apa tu stereotype all girls macam gitu? Like because when I see there are girls yang macam I have seen personally, orang macam dekat perempuan dengan perempuan, diorang macam kita, macam very ganas, very tapi bila dengan lelaki, dah makan, like character switch. Aku macam
I've seen a few and aku terus cringe.
It's a lot lah benda macam tu.
Yelah, bila depan aku macam bila depan aku je, apa tu, gerek-gerek macam gitu gini-gini. Tapi kalau dengan ID, hi, oh my god, it's been so long, I've never seen you. Aku nak maki, tapi tak boleh, nanti kena kecam lagi.
Aku tahu
No, but I think it's because of these people, like they generalize and stereotype all women like that. So this is why korang kena kecam macam gitu from guys like saying, yelah, perempuan muka podcast semua gede lah.
Tapi korang suka perempuan gede apa?
Itu lah exactly.
Guys like perempuan gede. So
bila perempuan kasar cakap, kau terlalu kasar.
Feminist lah.
Macam jantan lah kau.
correct.
Habis bila
So apa
kita
korang nak?
Exactly.
Apa korang nak? Cepat cakap.
What you guys want?
Kita bergedi dengan antara kita tiga-tiga mak-mak ni je tau.
Dengan laki kita je tau.
Kita tak bergedi, kita tak ada ayah.
Ana just like okay.
So since ni another one question to us. Since some of us ni dah berkahwin, maybe in relationship, I have this one. Dia dah declare siang-siang I have one question to ask you all. Does it affect your relationship or your lifestyle tak?
Oh, okay. Can I share?
Of
I
course,
think when
you're the
I
guest.
first
Aku pernah ketawa. Aku nak terkencing.
the thing is, okay, when I first started Sembang Panas, I was in a relationship. I was in a relationship. And I think it did affected the relationship because I was surrounded with guys, and then I think social media, and then at that point of time my relationship was still new, so we still needed to learn each other. So it affected in terms where time, definitely, because doing a podcast takes a lot of time. It's not just, if korang rasa just duduk and just berbual, you are wrong, man. There's planning to be done. There's inviting guests. You need to liaise with them. You need to edit. You need to do this. You need to do that. There's a lot of things that you need to do. It's not just 1 hour sit down berbual like that. No, it's not. Kalau korang nak, korang buat lah podcast dah baru korang tahu. And after that, it affected a lot because I was working full time also at that point of time.
Aku nak terkencing.
Betul lah. So it affected because I was working full time, and then at the same time I was doing podcast, and then I was helping out, and I was in it doesn't help that I was in an environment full of guys, so it affected lah in a way. But after we broke up, we are still good friends. So
That's good. That's good. Me,
How about you?
Senang cakap, it's pretty hard because I don't have a lot of support from my husband. Because he don't listen to podcast, he don't know what I'm doing. So essentially he thought that podcast ni hanyalah macam aku ni duduk menyimbang, lepak. So he doesn't really, I mean, I don't blame him because dia tak dengar podcast punya orang. So he thought that ni macam simbang bawah blog aja, atau macam, but he did see the potential for me to, as much as it is, to be on my own. Because I'm not sure whether you guys know, but I am going to school to be a sex and relationship coach. So that's one of the thing in the pipeline that I'm going to do once I get my certification. At least you motherfuckers cannot cancel me because I'm a professional. You know what I mean? So yeah, that. And then like he said that, you know, you can do this on your own. Why do you have to be in this group? And then because currently we don't really have a space, and then of course it's within our macam rumah. So you know, we gotta start somewhere. Like bridal pun start dari rumah, and everything else, like, you know, home-based businesses start from home. Daripada itu. So it's a bit tough lah, but sometimes it does get to a point where we do fight a lot about macam the hours very late ke apa, atau kadang-kadang kita bising sangat kat dalam rumah. You know, but we have to meet in the middle lah. So sometimes I would just say, you know what, I'm not gonna talk to you about my podcast anymore. Like, you know, I'm not gonna like the ins and outs of things, you know. I mean, it's not easy to have someone who understands. Like, we do get along with other aspect of things, but we are very different in many ways because he's an introvert. I can be an introvert too, but depending lah. Can say aku ambivert lah, senang cakap. But for him, he just do not understand the need to do this. You know, and I told him that, you know, I feel that it is calling of mine to be able to speak my mind, or even like if you guys listen to my podcast, it's not just berbual blog.
Yes, correct.
We really learn a lot of things. And okay, kita nak mengajar pun, kita nak tukar persepsi orang tentang banyak benda. There's a lot of things that we wish people will unlearn and relearn things to say that, hey, you know what, I want to be a better human being. You know, I need to learn to be tolerant to the changes that's happening in the world. We open topics about LGBT, and you know, for me, I have no issues with that. The boys are trying to navigate how do we, like, potentially our children are going to grow up in this kind of era. How are we going to deal with those things? Yes. Because in our time, it's a no-no. Now it's celebrated. How do we kind of like toggle between ensuring that, okay, I have instilled enough religious values to my kids, but at the same time let them navigate the ways, or give them the tools on how to manage this sort of macam community. Yes. Betul tak? Kita tak boleh haram dah, tak boleh. Then tak boleh full stop gitu je apa. So yeah, we talk about those kind of stuff. But yeah, generally kalau problem dengan suami tu normal lah.
Normal lah, I think.
It's not, we just have to navigate that because essentially kita pun perempuan kan. So dia tak jealous lah, cuma dia rasa that they take my private time. Kira macam masa lah. Dia bukan jealous pasal, because he knows that aku malas layan, but you know, like, come on, look at the boys in my group, like kalau dia macam cara dia orang Henry Cavill ke Jason Momoa ke, mungkin lah kau rasa macam Tapi tak ada apa-apa kau nak risau lah.
For korang,
Kak D already answer my second question lah. I wanted to ask whether ada like korang ada support from your family, friends atau relatives yang dorang dengar podcast korang ke tak and stuff lah.
Does your family dengar korang punya podcast?
No.
I
Aku nak kena on baru laki aku tengok.
Ya. Kan malas nak layan. Padahal kita excited. You know what I talk today.
Not to listen.
But okay, so far for Ana, Hanis, korang how? Your husband okay?
sure your husband supportive?
Laki aku, bos aku macam mana?
Paling supportive lah.
Paling supportive.
Husband aku support lah aku buat podcast. Like he's okay with it because he say that since I like to like macam simpan everything to myself. He say it's better for me to be in the podcast and then at least aku ada people to share with. You get what I mean? Share with and then aku tak rasa lonely. Because most of the time aku duduk rumah apa before this. So when I'm here aku macam
Dia macam aku nak terkencing.
For me,
apa? Aku nak terkencing. Kau macam aku nak terkencing.
For me, at first my husband tak suka lah. But I macam berbual dengan dia, make him understand. Sebab selalu aku yang kena faham dia. Kan ni aku yang kena faham kau. Sekarang kau kena faham aku. Yes, budak-budak dah pergi sekolah, aku free time. So kat sini.
So kira di tempat kerja kau lagi. Bapak dengan aku.
Yes. Okay.
So what are the limitations as a woman podcaster? Apa yang kita boleh buat?
Tak boleh buat.
Tak boleh
Apa yang
buat.
kita tak boleh buat? Apa yang kita tak boleh buat?
Tak.
Kau apa cakap kau? Dia kan mak tiri aku kat sini.
Tak boleh buat.
Tak boleh buat. I think topics about macam I don't know like to us I think we
For
just
me,
like,
sky's the limit, man.
we just go
Really.
je
Cuma
lah.
kalau masa kita rekod kan, aku terlajak cakap, kau delete. Aku banyak terlajak cakap, betul. But really, sky's the limit.
Correct.
It's whether kau berani to put forth and the reason you want to put forth. Kalau kau berbual setakat kau nak macam lepaskan gerak kau nak kecam orang, I don't think that is right. But if you want to do something to inspire people, and that topic is really difficult, and kita pun like tadi aku cakap lah LGBT,
Or like gender equality.
like you know all that stuff. Like a lot of people tend to go just on the surface. Tak apalah, itu dia punya tu, then lari from it. But go into it. Don't be afraid. Call people and say, make us understand why this happened, or make us understand the stand in the religion. How can we be able to, macam how can we live with this kind of people harmoniously, instead of having this perception that aku haram. Kau nak cakap orang macam gini haram. Orang gini yang suka sejenis kadang-kadang jaga mak bapak dia lagi bagus pada kita yang straight nak mampus ni dah. What confirms kau syurga? Kalau kau punya mak bapak sendiri kau tinggal kat home ke, kau buat bodoh. Example kan. So for me, we are all filths. Nobody is kau maybe a religious person ke ustaz ke, kau maybe a very deep sinner, whatever. All of us have filth. I look at in life is like that. I don't give you respect just because you are somebody preacher, and I give you less respect just because you're a sinner. Everybody deserves the same motherfucking respect. That don't mean you have to macam ustaz jadi ni pendosa. Kau tak dosa. So that's why I say when you talking about topics, sky's the limit.
Yes, correct.
But of course janganlah macam no hate speech lah, of course. That's the limit lah, hate speech lah.
Instead of saying that women have macam some things that they cannot cover, I think it's more on kita orang punya self, whether we can accept the kecam that we're going to get. Because definitely like Dee mentioned also, kita perempuan, apa-apa kita buat confirm kena kecam. So whether you can handle it or not, if you cannot handle it, I think that is why some certain women diorang macam hold back. But if you can take it, that's when you just go je macam Dee.
Just go je. I mean like, you want to be in this business, you cannot be scared.
Kena tegaskan diri.
Like especially if let's say you are with men of a certain stature or whatever, that you think that aku nak kena respect. Respect needs to be earned, you know.
Yes.
You can
Correct,
say your views or whatever, but that don't mean you have to say, oh ya betul, you cakap betul. Tak.
Faham.
Macam mana kita tak ditindas kalau tak dinampak macam ditindas just because kita nak respect orang tu. Respect is a huge word. Define it properly.
Yes,
Correct.
correct.
You know what I mean? Don't because kau
betul.
perempuan, lelaki tu sesuatu, orang atas-atasan whatever.
Ya macam apalah, macam tiba-tiba suara tu tukar. Dia macam apa tu, kira orang yang berpangkat besar kita nak kena
bow down.
nak kena bow down. You know, but sometimes you know we need to be open lah. Sometimes tak boleh macam kita just takut close-minded, takut-takut nak cakap-cakap satu. Macam like, for me, yes, I want to be that because aku have been keeping maybe like certain issue orang cakap pasal I think this is a sensitive pasal when it comes to penghijraan seseorang. Kenapa kau macam gini macam gitu. That's something that you know you have to learn how to respect penghijraan orang tu macam gitu. So kau tak boleh macam expect orang ni kalau dah bertutup litup nak kena
100%.
tutup litup mulut dia sekali. You know bawah pun nak kena tutup. You know that kind of thing. But it take time. So you know you have to get that boundary. Sometimes macam orang cakap tak boleh kau tak boleh, kau nak kena pandang tau mak bapak kau.
Kau siapa sel?
So
What I say
Lu siapa? Kalau aku kepekik macam gitu. You get me?
I was like lantang kau lah, kau fikir apa. I mean me. So there's nothing to change. You will see me the same. Aku akan take time, but you don't tell me to do what I have to do. Macam I take time my own self lah gitu.
Kalau kau ketawa je, nanti dia orang awkward sendiri. Psikologi.
Because they want us to react to whatever they say.
So aku punya reaction was very simple. Macam ya ke? Yelah tak apalah, sama-sama kita jumpa kat neraka jahanam lah. Begitu.
Aku simple je. Simple je guys. Orang berbual kan, kadang-kadang korang tengok aku macam hayalan. That means right,
Kau
masuk sini, masuk sini. Masuk sini, keluar sini. Masuk sini, keluar sini.
Tapi sebelah kau tinggal kau pekak. Macam mana tu? Kau boleh simpan tak?
Sudah stop.
Kau boleh dengar tak sebelah sekarang
Dia
ni?
keluar kat mulut. Sikit lah.
Dia keluar kat mulut.
Okay.
Iyalah.
So here is how kita all run our podcast. Okay. It's not macam kita lepak, habis berbual, habis
Macam,
we have
Aziz
our
cakap.
pre-planning, right? Like what you have.
Yeah.
Then kita macam have, how to say
Research.
with research. We have macam good vibes with each other. Chemistry is important.
So that kita akan deliver that podcast to you guys
in a good vibe.
In a good vibe.
Correct.
So mostly of our content is more on tips, advice, or a bit macam you know sharing of thoughts like this kan. And also macam baru je like kita you know sharing with our listener pasal kita punya macam experience like postnatal depression ke, birth ke, all this kind of thing. So to us is like you know this is something where kita boleh macam get our listener to listen. Can relate lah, dia ni punya story sama time aku beranak. Aku pernah postnatal depression, so I can relate.
I am not alone. That kind of thing.
So from there kita nak catch people where they would want to be interested to listen to our podcast. Then slowly by slowly they were much more interested to say, Anna share these tips, Hanis have shared these tips. Like you are you guys macam like you Kak D, you dia punya
All out.
cakap all out. Aku suka dia punya vibe. Betul lah, betul macam akak bakal dia. Betul.
like
Betul.
You cannot express yourself, but there is someone else
to
out there
relate.
can express for you.
And it's refreshing kalau that's the response kan, because like some people cakap lah dia macam faham. Okay macam faham, kau pandai apa? You know, just jawab macam gitu lah. I guess you just have to be yourself lah. You know, your true self. Then orang akan macam this is how she is. You know, macam even dengan members, if you can tell sometimes aku ni terbourgeois sikit lah bila aku berbual. I'm not making that up. If I'm nervous or I'm new at a new place, I tend to speak like that. I code switch. Bila aku dah comfortable gila, then baru aku punya macam pasal will come out. But it's not that sometimes gitu pun boleh kena kecam. Kau tak slang apa? Aku bukan sengaja slang, memang dah otak aku
Tiba dia switch kan.
Aku tak sengaja.
Macam tadi
Maybe kau akak ni dah terbiasa. That's why.
Yeah, that's why kan.
Okay, so I have a question for you guys lah. Is podcasting a male dominated industry? How can we women stand out when working with or without them. So kita perempuan, kalau kita buat podcast, do we need men to be with us?
Or we
not?
can just have
we can just have our own lah. Like macam kita lah.
I think it used to be a male-dominated industry for podcasts, but as you can see now, there's a lot of female podcasts coming up. Like Say What SG, Oh Ya Ketu, siapa lagi?
Actually, Say What have been around since 2021.
I'm so sorry.
Siapa?
Say What SG.
Say What.
Yeah, from what I saw, like I just tracked back where they came, like when they started lah kan. Dia punya first episode, it was 2021.
I just knew them from the Pod Connect. I'm so sorry.
Correct, from Pod Connect.
But we get to know more women podcasts from there.
Podcasters, yeah.
I think they are maybe there are those yang dah started quite long time ago, but they are not macam not recognized. But with all these upcoming more female podcasts, the hidden female podcasters that have been doing podcasts for a longer time is starting to rise up also. And I love it because we women have to support one another. We cannot macam aku female podcast, this female podcast macam tak boleh. Healthy competition, yes. But if kalau kau macam aku tak nak dia to do well, I need to macam
macam nak kena berlebih daripada orang lah gitu.
Then there's a different mindset. But for me, I think you don't need men. Like korang don't need men to run your podcast. Maybe the man is just to sponsor korang the money.
Dengar tu Leave that in.
But I am stuck already, so I cannot get out.
You are the manager, so you need to speak for me.
Correct. So the thing is, you don't need a man. Kalau benda technical, I admit I'm very bad with technical stuff. Sometimes I ask like, okay, ID Cypher, can you help me? But actually you can still learn from YouTube. But it's just that I got a lot of things to do. So if you all can help, then you all can help lah kan. Appreciate lah. That's the only thing lah, my weakness. Then but for korang, kalau let's say if you guys don't want a guy to help you guys, not bukan ego or what, korang just like to show to other women out there, we actually boleh buat. Whatever a guy can do, a woman can do also.
Correct.
If not better. But I'm not saying that we are better than guys. Of course, we are equal. Honestly, we are equal. But we can do both things at once.
Yes, correct.
I believe before us,
Otak aku dah lari tu balik kau cakap both things.
What about you, Kak D?
Apa question dia? We don't need men or not, is it?
Dia punya otak just both things at once.
Aku rasa this is personal preference because I'm not the girlfriend sort of person. You know, I'm more of like a nya or a bro kind of person. You know, so I grew up with a lot of the only female persona I have, most female persona best friends I have are actually trans women or gay men. So it's really just personal preference. Aku susah not connect with women. I can perhaps like this, tapi for a long period of time it's a bit tough for me personally. But I'm cool. I mean, I'm okay. Macam like I love to see many women coming up. But again, I feel that in order for us to stand out, there are few things in that has got to do with science in order for us to maintain. First and foremost, suara kita. Our voices, human beings, there's a certain limit of decibel that people will just like be put off.
Correct.
So that's why if you notice, I try my best to kind of adjust to a lower tone as opposed to actually suara aku tak lower tone. My real suara is actually kemek, which is sometimes irritating. So sometimes when we edit, I'll be like, Syamin, kau downkan sikit, basskan sikit lagi suara kita. That's why if you see DJs, how is their voice, the female DJs? Fiza O, Jin Danker, Niti by Zura, whatever that is bass. So sometimes when we on, orang dengar podcast, dengar suara
nyarinya memekak.
Yes. So it's the signs of things. That is one. If you wanna top it, you know, sometimes people tak aware. Macam aku tak boleh. Kau pernah dengar apa? Aku tak boleh dengar macam gini orang. Aku tak boleh. Actually the message is good, but because the signs of things, right? Dia punya decibels, it's just not comfortable.
Faham.
For example, like you can have the best delicious food, but if the environment macam panas, berpeluh, bau busuk, kau pun tak nak makan tu makanan.
Correct. Selera lah.
Suara pun main peranan akhirnya.
Exactly.
Jangan jadi macam Pontianak, Hanis.
Asal?
Aku
Aku blur
Gitu
asal.
okay. Ketawa okay babe. Tapi
kadang-kadang
berbual kan.
dia kalau apa
Aku pun kadang-kadang gitu. Kadang-kadang tak apa.
suara kepala dah keluar.
Yeah, like you say, like Anna's voice, you know, she has that kind of like very raspy tone, and people like that, you know, naturally lah, because people say that, especially for women, they always go, oh, aku suka suara perempuan ni macam raspy, like you know, tak tahu lah dia perempuan sakit tekak ke apa ke.
Assalamualaikum. Assalamualaikum. Nama saya Anna Hoffman.
So, and I guess for women, we cannot. Okay, you see, women tend to use the word women empowerment too much. And without understanding what does that mean.
Yes.
If you want to empower women, it's not just about, oh, my story is this, that. No.
Correct.
There's many things or many ways. And if you want to be the epitome of women empowerment, you must be empowered yourself. Kau tak boleh macam, wow, women empowerment sikit. Tak boleh, aku masih boleh.
Kau jangan tengok aku ketawa.
Or if let's say you are hurting, you own you are hurting. You get what I'm saying? I am hurting.
Yeah.
Don't make fun of me. I am in this character. This I'm dealing with this. Own that shit. Don't be. Yang orang tak suka is the women victim mentality. Nobody likes a victim mentality.
Correct.
Poor me. That's not women empowerment.
Kira macam minta simpati
Atau ke lelaki ni macam gini teruk stop. Kau tak boleh gitu apa?
Yalah, correct.
Itu yang buat orang itu yang buat orang menyampah. Kadang kita nak kena faham, maksud kau menyampah tu apa? Mungkin kau boleh terangkan. If they say those things to you, knowing because you guys are all women, kan? I'm sure sometimes you get idiots like that who say those things. One of the things that cara yang kau boleh cakap, okay, what do you suggest?
What do you suggest?
What do you suggest? Like, okay, if you say that kita gedi, so what do you suggest or what do you see? Throw back a question back at them. Kasih diorang terangkan sampai terang. Kau bawa
Jangan gelap.
kau jangan
Macam terang bulan.
Betul.
Pasal memang it's not easy. So for me, kalau aku with all women group kan, aku takut macam I cannot unless they are, if dia terlalu macam aku pun masalah juga. Atau kalau dia terlalu lembut pun masalah juga. Kalau aku cakap kau salah.
Lagi ingat Kak Adi punya rasa. Dia gitu. Lepas tu macam imagine dia with a podcast yang another female tapi dia lembut dia macam gitu tu. Lagi satu bangis kat dalam podcast.
Sekarang aku dah ada list. Aku ada Musa tu. Dia yang banyak nangis daripada aku. Musa. Dah Musa, kalau aku cakap kena sedia, dah lah dia, aku nak nangis. Kasar dia nak nangis. Dia jiwa lembut Musa tu. So like, you know, kita actually dah ada 2 women lah. Musa is Hamu.
It compliments you.
Do you think that's one of the reason why before this I believe there's some female podcasters group yang fail? Is that one of the reasons?
Probably because you see, like, if the things yang korang dengar tadi, oh alah perempuan ni mesti nak kecam lelaki je, korang ni asyik nak kecam lelaki. No, you want to empower women, you empower men too. In order to empower women, you must have empowered men who want to empower women also. So if you are macam soaking in this whole misogynist, that word is fucking overused and I'm just done with that shit. So how are you gonna fix this misogynist man? And how are you gonna fix this victim macam mentality women or like women who's always in their masculine energy? How are you gonna help or how are you gonna inspire for this feminine energy to come back? And how are you gonna inspire men to get out of this toxic masculinity punya macam era or situation? That is what you should be discussing. Even though people can share stories, but sometimes it's not really much about takeaways, no. It's about hearing people. It's about even being relatable ke apa. Not sometimes cerita tu may be relatable to this person, but it may not be
Relatable to others. Relatable to others.
You know, kita punya hidup ni, walaupun orang cakap by right this is the way it should be, tak, God made us in many different twists and turns yang kita nak kena navigate, and not everybody goes through the same shit. You know, orang punya access is dengan kita punya access might be different. So
correct.
macam sometimes aku cakap this person facing things like this, kita akan fikir, oh, this is the right way we should react. Itu engkau, bukan dia. Kau nak kena kira dari dia kecil macam mana dia punya hal, macam mana dia brought up, dia punya tolerance level macam mana. Then we try to assess based on that and try and help that person. You cannot help that person based on what you go, how you grow up, what are your environment growing up, and who are your friends, who are your family. And then when you reach that problem, you cannot, your equation to solve that problem may not work for that person. You know, so when we want to talk about women empowerment, work on that.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
What she said.
Alright, true, betul.
Honey, just what
So
she
macam
said.
you know, kita tak
Betul
betul
kau laku
Hadis
ni.
sangat tak betul, dia random gila.
Correct.
So kalau macam like, you know, do you feel that regardless of what women do, the judgment is always heavier on us women compared than men?
Of course lah. Men dominated
berat
world
je.
Yeah, macam you know the judgments like macam people in not only what we do in podcast but sometimes in our daily life. Like after what we did in podcast, nanti dia ni yang berbual kat podcast bla 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 bla, and they will talk about you macam, kau tengok cara dia jaga anak dia, kau tengok cara dia jaga lelaki dia.
Everything will be
Everything.
Aku dah imagine lah kau macam nak belikan teropong untuk dia orang kan. Kau terus kasih dia. Mana? Bagus lah. Kau macam yang apa tu Menteri Fasola ni apa ni. Kau kasihkan je gitu kalau nak cakap.
Ajaib boleh tengok masa depan dia orang ke apa
Kan? Wow, syabas kau bagus lah manusia macam kau. Kau lah bagus. Gitu ni kena orang macam gitu kan.
Diorang ada like the ball, the future ball macam.
Kau main isai gitu.
Apa tu 14.
Lele. Dah lama saya tak dengar.
Laki aku lah ajar aku benda tu.
Okay lah. Since kita dah pun mendengar some of our friends punya POV and exchanging of thoughts, I would say it's not easy lah being a female podcaster.
It's not.
People will just easily judge you not by listening to our podcast but also through our personal life juga.
Instagrams and stuff. Yeah. Keep it private lah aku rasa.
Yeah.
You have that personal tapi jangan post banyak-banyak pasal family kau ke apa.
Correct. You want to post about yourself, you go ahead. But personal life, don't know.
That's why I stop.
Yeah. Alright.
Faham.
Aku pun stop post pasal lelaki aku dengan aku. People are just keep saying.
Aku tak ada orang nak post pasal, so
Yeah.
aku
Jangan
post
gitu.
benda-benda nonsense pasal tempat kerja. So korang standby.
Okay lah guys, that's all for today. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you Haji.
Thank you for inviting. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for
Thank you so
being
much.
here. Okay, so jangan lupa untuk follow us on our TikTok account AK Creative under Hot Seat. Kita punya teaser semua kat dalam sana, okay?
Yeah.
And don't forget to follow us on Spotify, okay? Rate us 5 star. Tadi ada tau. Rate. Liz pun ada correct. Kalau tak nanti dia macam bakteri tau. Okay, kita. Oh, sorry.
Okay, kita akan jumpa korang in another next episode of Hot Seat Podcast. Podcast cakap betul. Jangan sorok-sorok. Oh, salah lagu lah.
Hot Seat Podcast.